What's going on, y'all? I hope you all are doing well. So today I'm going to talk about a loaded question. Tell me about yourself. So a lot of times we can get that question either in an in-person casting call or in-person audition, or even for a self-taped audition. So this question can be very interesting and very tricky, so I'm going to give you some tips to hopefully help you to answer this question in a more effective, productive way. So typically, when this question is asked, it normally goes with the project or with the gig or with the casting. For example, let's say you're auditioning for a basketball player. So if you get this question, tell me about yourself, they want to know about your basketball experience. So I would go right after you say your name. I would go into your basketball experience. How long have you played basketball? Do you play basketball now? Do you play it as a recreational hobby, or do you play it professionally? So that's an example of when this question goes with a specific casting or project or even role. Now, I can tell you some things about not to say about yourself, like don't mention your religious affiliation or your political affiliation. For example, don't say, hey, my name is so-and-so and I'm a Democrat. Or, hey, my name is so-and-so, I'm a Republican, or I'm an independent, or even I'm a Christian, I'm a Jew, I'm a Muslim, right? Don't give away your age, okay? So don't say, hey, I am Keegan and I am 25 years old, okay? Or your address. Hey, I'm Keegan and I live at 5568 White Wall Street, you know. Don't be that specific unless they ask you specifically about those things. So that question, when you talk about yourself, it's meant to be a small snippet, like a preview or a short, brief overview of yourself. If you don't get any guidelines or any directions about what to talk about yourself, then what I typically do is I obviously state my name and I state my status as far as, hey, I'm Keegan and I'm married and we have 3 beautiful kids. And then you talk about your hobbies outside of acting or outside of modeling, right? So you don't say, hey, I'm Keegan and I love acting. Well, obviously you love acting because you're in the industry, right? You work in the industry. So that's an obvious thing. Talk about something else that you're passionate about or a hobby that you're passionate about. For instance, for me, and this is true for me, hey, I'm Keegan and I love working out. I love working out like 5 times a week. I love going to the gym. I love the way it makes me feel, the way it makes me look, you know, that kind of stuff. So if you love fishing, talk about how you love fishing. If you love drawing, if you love listening to music, if you love going dancing, you know, I like going dancing too as well. Talk about that. Talk about things that you have fun that you enjoy, that you're passionate about. Even some maybe passionate projects that you enjoy doing, that you're going after. But again, if you're not given guidelines or directions about what to talk about yourself, I would go with a hobby or a passion project, even a little bit of your status, relationship status maybe. Well, if you're single, you don't have to say, hey, I'm single and I'm looking, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to say that. So only like if you're married, if you have a family. And typically, like for me, because I'm married and I have a family, typically this question comes with a project or gig looking for like a husband, looking for like a father, looking for like a family man. So that's when I would talk about my family in that example. Again, you want to give a brief overview just to let them know a little bit of what your personality is like. You know, I like hanging out with my friends. I love going dancing. You don't have to say specifically where, you know, and you don't have to mention specific names unless, again, they ask you these follow-up questions, or they ask you specifically, hey, when you talk about yourself, mention your son's name or your daughter's name or how old they are. You know, all those things, if they don't ask you about those things, you want to keep it sort of a mystery. Again, it's just an overview, a brief preview of who you are and what you're like, and it should be very short. The other thing is, if you speak another language, like I speak Spanish in addition to English, so I would say, hey, my name is Keegan Leiber and I speak conversational Spanish. So that's good to know. You know, that's an interesting fact about myself, right? Also, another interesting fact about me that a lot of people may not realize or observe by just looking at me is, originally I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, which is an island in the Caribbean. You know, that's an interesting fact. So when somebody says, tell me about yourself, they want to learn maybe some interesting facts that that's not obvious, or they can't really tell by just looking at you. Again, it's a brief overview, a brief snippet, not too long. Leave a lot of things to mystery unless specifically asked. For example, as I mentioned before, your political affiliations or your religious affiliations, your age, your address, names of specific people, you know, that kind of stuff. So hopefully this video has helped you to talk more about yourself. And hopefully when you get that question asked, that you can answer that question confidently and succinctly, or briefly, concisely, and you can have fun with it and let people in a little bit to who you are.